Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Star Trek Discovery has finally addressed the short trek known as Calypso in the most shoehorn kind of way possible. So, whether you're a fan of Star Trek Discovery or you hate it like I do, there's one thing all the viewers just wanted to know. When and how exactly is Calypso gonna be addressed? It's one of those things that's been on our minds ever since we saw the short trek, because it left so many questions unanswered. It was the end of season 1 of Discovery. They're about to go into season 2, and Discovery has been adrift in deep space for nearly 1,000 years. The ship's computer has developed an AI and has evolved into Zora. And so it's a sentient being, and it falls for a man named Kraft, a man who just got through fighting in a war. His shuttle was adrift, and Zora took him on board and basically just fell in love with him and stuff. Then she sent him on his way back to Earth to be with his wife and kid because he's been away for so long and everything. It was an odd episode. It was very bleak, and it left so many questions unanswered. Many fans have speculated that since Star Trek Discovery Season 1 is so different from any other Star Trek show where the technology doesn't make no sense and it has literally divided a fan base, that this was their way of just getting rid of the ship, lost in space. And so that way it would never have to come up in conversation in other Star Trek shows. And because this ship has never been addressed in any Star Trek show. They've never had a spore drive where they could teleport anywhere in the galaxy. So this was their way of retconning a huge kerfuffle, if you will, in the Star Trek lore. So fans speculate this is a way of just getting rid of it. So when the show in the 3rd season went to the 32nd century around the same time the short trek was, people assumed, oh hey, they're gonna address it in some kind of way. But then they retrofitted the ship. They changed it to fit their designs to the 32nd century, and they put the letter A on the ship. The nacelles are spaced apart from the ship, and it has a different color looking to it. And so people thought, oh, okay, they're just gonna forget Calypso. But oh no, Kurtzman's all like, nah, we're gonna address it. So all right. So we waited for season 3, nothing. We waited for season 4, nothing. And then finally in season 5, still nothing until the very final scene in the last episode. Now, technically, the ship's computer has been evolving since somewhere in season 2 to somewhere in season 3 and called themselves Zora. So this has made fans assume that in season 3 we're going to get some explanation. Now, I still have not watched any episode of season 5 except for the first, but I've been watching reviews and I'm very shocked to find out how they address this whole Calypso thing. It is the most shoehorned thing I have ever seen, and it's not even really explained. It's just, I bet you anything they forgot about it, oh crap, we gotta address this, so let's just shove it in real fast and everything. Because remember, they didn't know at first season 5 was gonna be the last, and they had to rework everything and rewrite and reshoot some stuff, and so they had to shoehorn this in somehow. Is there a logical explanation for Calypso? No, none whatsoever. It's half-baked at the most and everything. So, and this is how bad it is. And this is how you can tell it's shoehorned, right? They ran out of money. As Discovery is leaving dry dock and everything, you've noticed that the ships is passing by, the CGI is really off. It looks like something from the early 2000s and stuff. Then, to add insult to injury, They copied and pasted and just flipped the ships around, similar to what they did in Star Trek Picard season 1 finale. As you can see with the colored circles around them, these are the same ships, just flipped around. That is pathetic. This lets me know they shoehorned that in. So this is basically what happened in case you didn't watch it. After like Discovery's like mission at the end of season 5, about 40 years have now passed, and Captain Burnham is now Admiral, and she goes on Discovery for one last time. And so she tells Zora she has a red directive mission for her. Now, red directive is something at the utmost secrecy and everything. It's kind of like the what was that thing in Voyager? Omega level directive or something like that? Like for that one entity they had to destroy. But anyway, it's something very, very highly secretive and sensitive, and only the higher ups in Starfleet know about this. So she tells her that, you're going to be waiting for Craft or something like that. And she doesn't know if Craft is like a person or a vessel or what. And she tells her, you have to go off far, far, far out into space, and you need to wait there for as long as you can and everything. And something like, eventually we will be back for you and blah, 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 stuff like that. And then so she tells her, like, let's fly. So I'm assuming Michael transported off Discovery because she would be stranded there. And we see the show being retrofitted again to look the way it did in the earlier seasons. They took off the A, the nacelles attached to each other, stuff like that. And Zora goes off. This makes no logical sense whatsoever. And I mean whatsoever. Because of the simple fact that, like, why is this craft man so special that it's so secret that Zora has to wait for him all by herself with no crew and everything? Like, what is the deal? Because we never knew nothing about this dude that much other than he has a family and he fought in a war and all this other stuff. And so what is so special about this dude? Not only that, but why did the ship have to go back looking the way it used to? See, now we're in the 33rd century because season 5 was the 32nd. Now we're in the 33rd. So why did the ship have to go looking back the way it did? I'm not exactly sure what period Calypso takes place. I know it's 1,000 years from season 1, but they are in 1,000 years in season 5. So why did the ship have to go back to looking the original way? What is so special about that? It's never explained because Kurtzman can't explain things. And because the man just can't track and everything. And not only that, but like Discovery is a very highly, like, advanced ship. It's the only ship that has a spore drive to it. And, despite coming back from the 22nd century, they retrofitted it to make it look, all brand spanking new. So now they just made it look old again with the spore drive. And what if somebody was to like somehow like get on board Discovery and take it over and stuff, Not to mention Zora is now a sentient being, and they literally left a child who has some of the most advanced technology ever out in space by herself to be sad and depressed. So depressed that she fell in love with a human man and everything. That don't make no sense. That's not the Starfleet way. You know what I'm saying? They now value every sentient type being of life. And remember Data and the Doctor, they took them a while to appreciate them, but they did and everything. So this is no different. It's so cold-hearted and everything. Then there is the whole waiting for Craft. When Zora found him, she knew his name was Craft, but she didn't act all excited like, oh, it's you. I've been waiting for you and blah, 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 stuff like that. No, it was just the most nonchalant conversation ever. And, she never was like, hey, there's a special mission with you and I need to take you back to, like, Starfleet and blah 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 blah. It was none of that crap. This was the most half-baked thing I had ever seen. And it is embarrassing. It's more embarrassing than any other episode in Star Trek Discovery and everything. And it just shows you how little these new showrunners and writers care about Star Trek and everything. They can't even writing themselves out of a predicament that they created nearly 4 years ago and stuff. I mean, seriously, like, this is how bad it is. They're just like, they don't care, just like throw something together. They hate the show or whatever. And it's just, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, I hate the show, but I still watch it because it's Star Trek. Because I've been waiting for it to get like better, and even when it starts to get okay, it goes back to being crap. But I've been wondering about this whole Calypso thing, only to have this, like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm so, thank God this show is done. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Because I couldn't take it no more, man. This is not real Star Trek. It just really isn't. Not to mention who navigated the spore drive. Book's not there, Stamets isn't there. So we have to assume that they've made more modifications to Discovery to where Zola can just teleport wherever she wants to. And not only that, but Zora is, when you stop and think about it, on, like, you think outside the box, she's technically the most advanced, smart, and dangerous being in the universe, next to the entire Borg collective. Like, she can do, like, she has shields, she has weapons, she can teleport, she's really smart, she's really fast. If she wanted to, she could destroy a civilization. So it's really stupid to send her far, far away with no crew. And what if she was to get corrupted or something like that, like a virus or something? Like, do you see the stupidity of this show? Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.